Nadeshot, why everyone wants games to fail. We don't want games to fail. We want them to be good. Let's see what he says here.
Yeah, I have. Funny enough.
Hold up.
Already hating on that game.
Have you seen anything on Shroud's new tac shooter Spectre? Yeah, I have. Funny enough, I was asked to invest by the dev studio that made Spectre.
Okay.
And at that point in my life, it's not that I didn't think the game was a good idea, but I just wasn't looking to write like a check at that time. Because my wife and I were thinking about buying a house. We were thinking about having kids. You know, there's a lot of...
And I've seen Shroud's game, and honestly, it just looks like a COD Valorant clone. And it's not innovative, right? And so it's just not something. It looks like something that everyone will play for a couple of weeks and then go back to the regular games. It just doesn't look like it's going to be that fun. It's kind of like what we've said with Hollywood. When you drive out the creatives, you drive out the people that can really innovate. And that's really what's happened to video games. And now you have all these streamers that want to play a game that's fun and interesting because streaming has driven games in such a way that it's become these battle royale, battle pass games. They're looking for something to be the next big thing. But the thing is the only reference they have is the games that they've played. And I'm not saying that's the case for Shroud. I'm just saying in general. So, you know, there's just not a lot of innovation.
Different reasons, but I am curious to play it. The idea of controlling two bodies, I think, is somewhat interesting.
I mean, it sounds interesting, but honestly, again, like I said, I think people will play it for 2 weeks and go back to their regular games.
I obviously love tac shooters after playing Val as much as I have, so I'm certainly curious. I don't really have any strong opinions on whether it's going to be a success or not. I think it's hard to... Making a hit game is like winning the lottery, I feel like. I mean...
It's not like winning the lottery. Honestly, the way I've heard it from a friend of mine that was a developer from way back in the day is their job is to create fun. And what has happened is you have these MBAs and these CEOs, all these people at the top that are driven by income. They're driven by forecasts that always have to increase sales, increase sales, increase sales. And what it does is it stifles those who are creative and take risk. And it just looks to formulas that can basically give them a bottom line that they're looking for. And don't get me wrong, there should be profit in gaming, right? But this is the problem. You're so driven by this top-end ideology. That's why you get so many microtransactions. That's why you get battle passes. That's why you get all these skins you have to pay for. It's not innovation. It's just dress up. It's video game dress up. It's not, oh, I'm having fun. It's, I just want to look cool. And I got FOMO from somebody else looking cool. That's all it is. It's not fun video games.
It's a little bit more controllable, I would say, than the sheer luck that the lottery is. But it's really hard for games to skyrocket in popularity.
It's really not. Look what Helldivers did. But then they screwed themselves with the way they treated their community. So it's just make a game that's fun.
It takes like the right time, the right momentum, the right type of game. I hope they find success with it. I'm excited to try it. Bad game, in my opinion. You haven't even played it, right? Nope.
You don't have to play a game to say that you think it will be bad. Let me just say that. I'm just going to say that. You can watch a game's gameplay and feel like that's not a game for me. That game's going to be bad for me. I'm not going to play it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Now, sometimes, and this is the minority, you'll look at a game and be like, I'm not so sure about that. That doesn't look like it's for me. And then you play it and you're like, holy crap, this game's great. One example of that for me was Elden Ring. I am not a guy that plays those type of games, but the game just looked amazing from a art standpoint, and I wanted to play it, and it turns out it's amazing, and I did actually like it.
Nobody's played it. Is it out?
And why I gave you guys that background context as it leads into the main point of this video as Nadeshot continues to discuss why he thinks it seems nowadays everyone wants new games to fail.
But they don't. Everyone doesn't want new games to fail. They just want games that are fun. That's all it is. And here's the thing. I bet you this is where it's going to go. Just everybody always likes to blame the customer. Well, you didn't like my game because you're just negative with everything. Like you're just toxic. You didn't like my game because you're toxic. No, There's nothing wrong with people being critical of whether it's Star Wars, whether it's movies, whether it's Rings of Power, whatever it is, a video game, Apex, whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with it being critical in the standpoint of, I didn't like this because of X, Y, and Z, and I wish we had X, Y, and Z, right? Now, if you're just being negative to negative and spew hate, that's different. But here's the thing. We have to stop blaming consumers, blaming us. Because it's simple logic. If you make something that's good, people consume it. If you do something that's fun, people watch it. Like, it's simple as that.
Using X-Defiant and Shroud's new game.
And X-Defiant, that's the thing. It had so many problems. Maybe it'll be a good game when it gets, like, it has a couple more months to cook. But like the bunny hopping snipers, I was out immediately. I was like, no thanks. It's not fun.
And other titles as an example.
I don't think there's actually... I think it's... I mean, the gaming industry is definitely... I don't think it's oversaturated. There's a lot of games that come out, but there's not a lot of games that stick.
Yeah, it's not oversaturated. It's the problem is it's like Hollywood. You've driven out the creatives because you're so focused on maximizing your income. And that kills games. That kills creativity. No one is willing to take a risk to make something cool again.
There's a playtest tomorrow. Tomorrow's the beta. Oh, no way. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll try it out or something. I'm not sure. Just like XD, terrible game. LOL, overhyped. Yo, Stunzy, once again, I don't think anybody's played it yet. Why do we feel that way? Stunzy, listen, man.
People feel that way because they're not having fun.
I don't know if I'm going to get a serious answer out of you, but I am curious. Like, why do you feel like the game is terrible and overhyped? What makes... Why? If you haven't played it, you haven't seen anybody play it, what game? We were talking about Shroud's game, Spectre. Yes, people have played it. Okay, have you played it? You can
see that's not a valid argument. Just because you haven't played it doesn't mean you can't have an opinion on the game. I can watch Overwatch 2 and be like, yeah, I'm not playing that because it looks just like Overwatch 1. I'm not going to spend my time on my money. And so you don't have to play the game to have an opinion on the game.
Watch gameplay. What do you mean? Have you played it, though? There's a 20-second delay, so I'm sitting here waiting. There's something weird that has happened in the gaming community. I'm serious, too, when I say this.
Here it goes. Gonna blame the fans.
For some reason, everybody in the gaming community wants games to fail. It's very bizarre. Like,
there it is. We want game. No one wants games to fail. We just want a good game. We just want a fun game.
The whole thing with X-Defiant is still, like, stumps me to this day. It's like, people complain about not having enough games to play, but when new games come out, even before they have played it, they're like, that game sucks, I'm not going to play it. And I'm like, listen, man, if we...
Again, you can make that decision by watching gameplay. Remember Dragon Age when the first trailer came out and we were like, this does not look like Dragon Age. And then they came out with the second trailer and we're like, now this is awesome. This is Dragon Age. Like, you can make those determinations by what you observe around you. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to partake in it to have an opinion.
Down these studios trying to make good games. Like, yeah, not every single one is going to be fun and not every single one is going to be a hit. But if we're...
And the reason for that is because they're driven by money.
We're sitting here...
CEOs and all these guys are driven by the bottom line. They don't care about you. They don't care if you're having fun or not. They care about how can we maximize our profit.
Like, preying on its downfall before the game even comes out. What do you think's going to happen? Nobody.
I do think there are some people that are like that, though. What Nateshot's saying is there are some people that are kind of like they just want to cancel everything.
Nobody's going to be.
But that, I would say that's a small minority.
Investing in gaming and making new games because these billionaires and fucking multi-billion publishers, they're not gonna greenlight any new.
See, there he is. He finally got to it. He's getting around to it, and he knows it. That it's driven by these guys with deep wallets that just want to maximize profits. And it's the same thing that's happened in real estate, where you get all these investors coming in, they're buying up starter homes that should be for, people on fixed income, veterans with disabilities, people starting a new family, wanting to buy a home, all these things, right? So the same thing is happening in video games, where you have all these large investment firms that come in, and all they think about is money. They don't care if you're having fun. They don't care if the game is good. They don't care about quality lives. All they care about is money.
Make sure to like and subscribe, or we will execute Order 66. Check out our other videos on the screen as well.
Yes, my lord.